Welcome to the Epic Tiki, the podcast. That's how I said it before. Look, I cannot do this podcast without fucking something up. There's always something that I do wrong, and we just recorded for like 15 minutes, and she's already refilling the wine. That's how much we recorded, and I didn't say yes to that. And now, no, but I did. We did like a whole 10, 15 minutes, and it was going good, warming up, getting going, and then I didn't start the recorder. So now we're starting, and I'm Luke Soin. This is my guest, Allie Berta, and she owns this house that you've been seeing in every episode of this podcast so far since I restarted doing it.
This is true. And we brought in a new set because you haven't done, right?
Yeah. It's been a while.
New set.
The last episode was Shannon Battle like a month ago, probably like 2 weeks ago, but feels like a month.
Yeah, well, I don't know how long the couch has been here. A few weeks.
Only like a week. This couch? The paint is like 3 days old.
Yeah, I painted. That's how I spent my Thanksgiving break.
Warm to cold.
Tell us how
autumn.
great it looks.
She wore a shirt to match the wall.
Blending into the wall. I still stand by this choice, but now that I see the camera, I do notice that I do kind of blend in. So, oops.
Oh no, it's okay. I thought it was just funny because you came out because you're like, I'm gonna change, and then you came out. And I was like, did you do that on purpose for this? Like,
Nope. It's just a nice slouchy shirt to wear. I had on my
slouchy shirt.
Slouchy. I was wearing layers before, quarantine chic. And
it's like
I
that,
decided to step it up.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's like that thing. Have you seen that product that they sell? It's like a thing you put under your shirt, and it pulls your so you're like have good posture.
I've seen the thing for the back that it's like a little. Like pulse or something.
Pulse?
I don't actually know if it's a pulse, but I assume that's how
like
it works.
Of those ab machines
I don't know how it's like a little thing that you stick on your back.
Oh no!
I don't know how it stays.
No, it's like it's almost like a belt thing in it, or like a strap, and you put it. It like goes around like this, and then it crosses in the back, and then it makes you like forces you to sit up straight, and it's probably really cool, and I should get one because I've been having neck problems like all day today. I slept weird. I took a CBD pill and 5 milligrams of weed, which is like nothing to a lot of people, but for me,
Well, yeah, you were probably just zonked out. You were in like this position all night.
Yeah. I remember like falling asleep and I was just starting to get high because it started. Sometimes with weed, I get all panicky. So like I started feeling extra panicky all of a sudden. I was like, why? What? Oh, I took a weed. Okay.
I took the weed.
I took a weed pill. I mean, a gummy. And then I laughed myself to sleep, and then I woke up with neck pain.
Yeah, it sounded good up until the last part. So just have to no neck pain going forward.
Yeah. I've been having like really weird dreams because I got my wisdom teeth out. Life update. And so
he was wearing this really fun headgear for a while
when I came back. Also, it's not on my Instagram but I had right when I got out of the surgery, I took a picture of myself in the car,
I saw that.
And I had like blood all over my teeth, and I was like, ha ha.
And that's basically what you looked like coming in, like yeah.
You're like, hello.
I think I was still teaching when you came in that day too, right? It was last week, right?
Mm-hmm. Last Tuesday morning.
Yeah. One of my students just got their wisdom teeth out the same day, and I was like, my roommate just got his wisdom teeth out, and they did not care. They were like,
I thought you were going to be like,
we're relating to each other.
I thought you were going to be like, they said, and how old is he? And like 33.
I think I did say I added your age because I realized that sounded weird because it's like a kind of a teenage thing to do. So I think I said you were 34.
My roommate is 16 years old. He's not related to me at all.
Last year's students.
He just doesn't have parents.
Yep. Halfway true.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of our good jokes that we missed out on is we're half orphans.
And
we're in the Dead
Disney
Dad Club.
And Disney princesses.
Yeah, it's yours and again.
You have
you
to
gotta
have,
hold it probably, or it's bad luck. Yeah, there you go.
You have to have a dead dad or mom to be a Disney princess. So
yeah, and then we started listing them. We were like, Aurora, she has a dad. Jasmine, dad. Belle, dad.
And no mom on all these. So
yeah,
dad.
None of them have moms. That's kind of fucked up.
The Frozen girls, no parents.
They do for like 10 minutes.
Well, yeah.
Then they die at sea.
I mean, that's all of them had parents. They just die.
You kind of have to.
Yeah,
Unless
true.
you're Jesus, and then you
That's
only
true.
have
Like we
one.
had parents.
We still have one.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm saying a dead parent implies you had the parent. So just putting. I'm glad we cleared that up.
We're also drinking this wine that my aunt and uncle made. I don't know if you can see if you're watching the YouTube version.
You gotta zoom in on the label because the label is so goddamn precious.
Editing later, yeah. It's Spurgle.
Let me just describe it. So it's two
Yeah,
late,
there's audio listeners a little bit.
two late middle-aged white people.
They're a little old. No, yeah, late. Well,
They're
my
like
uncle's like 70 something.
Oh, see, okay, they look great. I was gonna say
Yeah.
like 62.
You know, my aunt's like 60 something. She's
Okay, well,
my mom's age. She's actually the youngest of the four of them. There was like my mom and her sister, and then they had two cousins, and that's one of them. So Spurgle.
Spurgle.
Yeah.
Family winery, and then in the middle of them is a really cute yellow lab that's a little overweight.
Who's dead now?
Aw, well, you know.
He's not a dad though, so he can't be in the dead dad club
Sorry,
somehow.
what was his name?
Oh fuck! What's his name? Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's
Good boy,
no.
buddy.
It's like it starts with an M or something. Mac.
Mac.
Yeah.
It's a good dog name.
Yeah.
But
He was-
yeah, Mac's in the middle, and they're just like in their chairs.
Yeah. They're in front of their house. You can't see the house, but it was a very nice house. They sold it this year, so.
Was their house also the winery?
Yeah, I mean, it like winery. They had like a side
grapes.
thing where there was grapes, yeah, and then they would make them. I think they had all the stuff under the house in like a basement type of thing, like they had a wine cellar.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a crazy house on a hill. It had like an infinity pool, and it had like 3 structures. It was really cool.
Why'd they sell?
They're just getting older, and it's
Oh.
like a lot to work on.
That's
And
fair.
yeah, but it's like I think it was hard for them to sell because it's kind of really custom. Like it has, like the main house is a really cool house, but it only has like 2, maybe 3 bedrooms.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's like a cabin that's on the side, and then there's like a carriage house which has like a lot of garage space, which is cool. So if you're into cars, a lot of space for that or whatever. And then like upstairs there's like another bedroom up there. So I don't know, but we always fit all of our family there. We just all sleep on the floor everywhere and stuff like that.
But yeah, if it's because it was probably like I would assume at least $1 million home, right? It's like
Oh, yeah.
So like
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand that it would, you know.
Yeah,
not
it was
everyone wants
like
to buy that.
Yeah, they had. I mean, and it's very specific. Like they custom built it for their taste. So then it's like they have to sell it to someone who's like also likes their.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it is tasteful. Like it has like Italian villa kind of feels. You know, you can't see it in that picture. I have pictures on my phone somewhere, but
I'll trust it.
yeah, I don't know what we're doing this year because COVID. But we almost went to Vegas for Christmas. We were
Really?
because we started.
That's like COVID capital.
I know. Well, we were just thinking of stuff, and we were like, because we wanted to do like a cabin or something, but it's too late and they're expensive. And then we started looking like all over the place, and then somebody found Vegas somehow, or that they suggested it, and it was Black Friday deals on Thanksgiving the other day, like 2 days ago, and like no joke, a room at the Flamingo was going for $12.
A room at the Flamingo is usually like 15. Like
Really?
I don't really know that number, but the Flamingo's
No,
like
I mean a
really
room
far
in
down.
Vegas on the Strip is like $50
But the Flamingo
minimum.
is one of the fringe strip ones.
It's older
like-
and not as like fancy.
Yeah,
but it's
'cause-
not bad.
no, I mean no strip like Excalibur is like that. What's the Pyramid?
The Luxor.
Luxor, like all
Yeah.
those are like $50, I would say. So yeah, that's cheap. But
Where did you guys went? Like which hotel did you stay at when you went?
Caesar's Palace is what I want to say, but is that actually where we stayed? The one, it's Caesar's Palace. Yeah, that's the one that's in The Hangover, and he's like, "Did Caesar live?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
where
yeah.
we stayed. And they have like the Venetian. I'm sorry, I like the Venetian because all their rooms are suites, but not during COVID.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Yeah.
Official Epic Tiki response. Stay safe.
But yeah, I feel like because I've gone to Vegas actually quite a few times, and when you stay on the outskirts of the Strip, it kind of sucks because it's like you're walking like
Yeah, a lot.
miles to get to the center, and like of course you want to walk the
Or you
Strip
have to take
and,
a
like, go
cab
places.
or something like that.
Yeah,
and-
so I feel like it's not worth it. It's like worth to spend like the $20 more or whatever to be like central.
well, you guys went in a group too, so then it's like
True,
you
but
could-
even those really nice suites are like not. They're like no more than $200 a night,
yeah.
and that can sleep 6 people super comfortable. You know.
Yeah, Vegas is like, well, I mean, I'm sure all that stuff is cheap because they want you to be there so you gamble or spend money on clubs and stuff.
Gambling. Yeah.
Do you ever gamble when you go?
No.
Or are you just saying that because you're a
No,
teacher?
I'm not a gambler. I'm not. No. Yeah, I played once on my old roommate's 21st birthday.
Yeah.
I did a $20 or slot for $20, and I lost it in like 30 seconds, and was like, "This is bullshit."
This is
like,
exactly what I thought it would
yeah, and I just like got up and I didn't even get my free drink, and I was so pissed.
be. Did you go too fast? Where you just?
I don't know. Like you just pull the. Oh no, it wasn't even pull the lever. It was just like push the buttons.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you don't even know. Like I don't know if you've played those slot machines, but they
Yeah, they
don't
have
make
different
any
kinds.
sense. Yeah.
They have some that like you can bet more on each roll, and there's some where you can bet a lot less, and then it lasts longer. But it's like eventually it's going to take your money.
But then those ones, if you bet like pennies or whatever, when you win, it's like bing, 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 bing. Like I won big, and it's like 12 cents. So I did the dollars.
Oh,
And didn't. Yeah, it was literally like 30 seconds. So that's been my gambling experience.
yeah. I've only done slots like twice, and it's, it's like you want it to be cool, and maybe you're in a group of people, so you're a little jazzed because you're there.
That's true. Yeah.
But you're just like, it's just not fun, and then
Well, and statistically, you know that it's like the worst odds. Like I know everyone knows that, but like
yeah.
I can't help but I think I'm thinking about that. Then I guess it's not or making my odds worse, but it feels like it. Like I'm like, no, I'm gonna lose. It's just a money trap.
Yeah,
But-
no, 100%. And then I feel like they do, for me at least once I would win something and then feel like, oh, I won. I should keep going because
Yeah.
it's possible.
True.
So I feel like a lot of times maybe there's sort of like a way that it knows like you're a new user and it'll like give you a little payout, but
Yeah.
not over
Keep
what
you
you
hooked.
made. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and then some people do win once in a while, but
Yeah, but I feel like the people statistically, probably the people who win, how much have they sunk to win? But yeah, I mean, there's outliers, I'm sure. But
you know what's like really depressing is there's people who have like, they have like club membership things.
yeah,
We were in the Jackson Rancheria, and there's like people with little key cards that are like on a little stretchy guy.
yeah, that's
And they're just, oh, you have 1,000 club point. Like, it's like people who smoke and they get that catalog or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
what are you
got
doing?
their jacket or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a family friend that's that way. Like when we would go to, it wasn't Vegas. Where was it? Somewhere
Reno?
else that you can get. Yeah, I think Reno, that they always had free rooms or whatever, which was like cool for us, like my family, like my cheap ass parents and stuff growing up. But like, or my mom's not cheap. I take that. Sorry, mom, if you're listening. My dad was really cheap. But
He
like
can't
my
say
mom's
anything, so throw him under the bus.
No, my dad was really cheap. That was a given. My mom's thrifty, but not cheap. But like, yeah, for that person who was able to just like comp multiple rooms, like, my God, how much were they spending? But yeah.
I don't know. This Star Wars mobile game I play, you can spend money on that, but it doesn't pay you ever. But I mean, you
How
get
much have you
enjoyment.
on your Star Wars mobile game,
I'll just say it. It's at least. Well, and do I count birthday money from my stepdad?
yes, that's still money.
Well, I didn't
Birthday money
spend
from
it.
your stepdad.
You know what the
Stop
problem
it.
is though, is that he does that, but then we've developed this habit of like when it's Christmas or birthday, or even like for Father's Day, I'll get him a present, or he'll get me a present, and then we also are like, buy a crystal pack and do
Wait,
it.
what is a crit? Like what?
Oh my
I want to
God.
wait. I want to know the number first. How much
Well,
money have you spent?
You can spend 5 or 20.
How much have you
or-
spent total? Most likely
Well-
estimate.
Well, so on birthdays and
Ballpark.
stuff, what we do is we buy a vault. Now that is a $100 pack of crystals. And it doesn't even get you that far. If you add up, like, you're like, oh, that like levels up this character like 2 levels only. Like, it's not great. But so It's been out for 5 years too, but okay.
Oh my!
I'm gonna say at least $600.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, and I've had problems with this in the past. Like I've ranted about it, and like I have a group chat where I talk shit about it sometimes. I mean, you talk shit about things,
About your
but-
Star Wars game?
Yeah, we have a Star Wars group chat with like people that I know in the area that we're all like we all started out in a guild together, and then we broke off, and then some of us are in this other guild now, and it's really good. And but we just talk about it all the time. And I've gone on like rants about like I just can't believe like it costs so much money because it's free to play, so you can play for free. You just can't unlock things quick as you'd like. So paying money lets you get stuff faster.
So probably almost everyone who pays money. Like
At
anyone
some
who's
point-
good. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there are people who are really disciplined and they don't, and they just enjoy it, and that's cool. But I sort of started getting this thing of like because new stuff comes out, and you can't access it unless you spend money or unless you somehow guessed or knew what was coming. Then you would be able to prepare for it by upgrading the characters you need to get the
I
new
see.
thing. So I've done that a couple times just because like I knew there was new movies coming out and certain characters would be important to get new ones. So I
Smart.
upgrade. Yeah. So, but I got it quicker than a lot of people did, but then it took forever. And
But
so,
cool, you didn't have to spend anything.
No, I still spent money on the way
Oh.
because we always like, yeah, it's like on birthdays or whatever, $100 Christmas.
That's a lot of money.
It started like 2 years ago though.
Yeah, and I get like growing up I used to play EverQuest with my brothers, and I remember like you'd do like
Yeah, you're
deals.
like a secret nerd. Like I forget you've done stuff like
But
that.
I'm not I'm not up to date.
No.
So
yeah.
I don't know anything in the modern era. In the last like 15 years.
It'd be hilarious to come out one day and you're not teaching and instead you're on World of Warcraft. You're like hanging out with Emma Haney, just like raiding stuff.
I was never a good gamer because what I wanted to do was just like walk around and explore the town, and like going out and leveling up was never that fun to me. I get in like
Yeah.
phases to do it, but I much rather would like explore and like
There's plenty
had
of
my
games
people
where
I
you can do
talked
that
to.
stuff.
Yeah, I would. I'm sure there's games I would like.
You would never stop playing The Witcher. Although there's a lot of like you have to do combat, like you have to fight things and you have to kill like monsters, and get their like monster blood and stuff. But there's like a million things to do. Like
Yeah, that's cool.
you'll be riding through like a town and then there'll just be like a lady on the side of the road like waving at you, and if you stop you can help her, and she'll be like, "These bandits killed my husband, please go get them."
You can go help.
Yeah,
Oh,
and you
that's
can just
cool.
go like kill people for killing someone, or like, oh, there's a monster disturbing our, and you just kill the monster, and then they're happy with you, and like then you forget like 4 hours later, you're like, what was I doing? Because it's
That's
just,
cool though. That's like a good game. Like it's like
Yeah.
that deep in the lore. I like that.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy, and that's why I'm excited for that Cyberpunk game that I've been watching videos about. I don't know if you saw or I've told you about it, but it's like the same studio that made The Witcher is making that, and it's like a first person sort of futuristic thing, and that it's just gonna be it's gonna be so much stuff to do.
You spend so much money.
No, that's the thing that made me mad about the Star Wars game is you have to spend money to get stuff in the game, but then they're always like, well, it's free, so I mean you don't have to. But I'm like, well, what if you just put out packs where it's like $20-$30? That's still a lot of money to buy like a new character that way.
It's true.
But it's like their model just works better the way it
Yeah,
is.
it's like capitalism, right? Like
There's people that are like whales or whatever they call them, and they're just people who they buy everything when it comes out. They'll spend like $1,000 when a new character comes out and upgrade and unlock whatever it is in like 3 days.
I wonder how much of that is kids who just use their parents' money, or is that adults who
It's
prioritize?
probably mostly adults.
Really- Yeah, I mean, I kind of hope that because like
I'm just imagining it's like rich people, and then there's probably also people who have a problem.
yeah,
Or people who just like don't have other things they do, and that's what they do.
yeah.
So
That's my thing about like online games, video games, stuff. Like even watching TV, I just don't feel like I have time. Like
yeah,
to invest.
if
into,
you're
like,
a real
whole
adult
world.
with a house and a career, and
I mean, there's
comedy
plenty.
spot things to do, then yeah, you don't
there's
have.
plenty of adults with careers that like have
Yeah.
hobbies that are like it's consuming media and stuff. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like maybe because like when I'm into something, I want to be like know all about it.
Yeah.
And so if I got into a show, I'd want to see like all of it, or if I was in a game, I'd want to see. And then it's just.
Did you
I feel
finish
like,
Barry? You guys were watching that for a
Yeah,
minute.
did we finish Barry?
I've still never seen it. I always forget it's a thing.
That was like early quarantine, if not before.
I just remembered because I know you, like, I'll see you guys watching stuff, but sometimes it's like it'll be documentary stuff and I don't remember it because I don't get into those myself. But
which I do.
Yeah.
I think we did finish at least the first season of Barry, but I'm trying to remember. Or there's 2 seasons, I think. Yeah, but now I can't even remember how it ends.
Well, because you guys went through The Boys really quick. I remember that's like the last thing I remember you guys were watching.
Yeah.
And you guys, because I was surprised you were like, yeah, we just started it. And then a few days later, I was like, we just finished it. And I was like, what?
Because we'd go to bed at like 7:30. And then it'd be like 8:30. Be like, I want to watch one more. Sure.
Yeah.
So we went through like 2 a night. And there wasn't that many episodes. And
yeah,
that was
there's only like 8 a season, I think. So it's not that bad. It's not
Yeah.
even a full season of normal old school
Yeah,
TV.
yeah. That was good though. I mean, like I always like shows I watch. I get annoyed. Like The Boys was one I just had to let it. I want things to be realistic, but I know that's like the whole premise isn't realistic, so like I can't expect that. But then like my brain, just because I like nonfiction so much, my brain is just like, this cannot compute, like does not add up, and so like I get mad at stuff that's not realistic. But
that man can't run super fast. It's impossible.
Yeah. Or like, why can the Flash run super? It's not the Flash. What's his name?
Oh, A-Train?
A-Train.
Yeah.
Why can A-Train go super fast and like kill his ex-girlfriend, but then like in another scene when he's fighting Stargirl or whatever her name is, he's like slow.
Starlight?
Starlight.
Is that her
yeah,
name? Yeah.
that is her name. But like, it's not consistent. I don't like that. That sometimes he can be really fast. Other times he's like caught up in a
Also,
fight. Same with like the super strength guy. Like,
yeah.
I just don't.
Well, they also, it's like A-Train. So she's talking about the girlfriend. The main character's girlfriend gets like killed by like A-Train. He just incidentally runs by and he runs into her. And the main character's left standing there holding her hands and her body's missing because he like ripped her apart.
If you haven't seen it, that's the first episode. So
yeah,
we're
it's
not
not too
spoiling
much of a spoiler.
Yeah.
It might even be in the trailers, but so it's like, so he didn't get hurt by that at all. He was.
Yeah, exactly. Like that, she could be
Wait, use the mic.
Oh shoot! I'm so excited. Like ripped in half, like bone cracked.
Exploded.
He's just standing there,
Yeah.
and that wasn't even what I was talking about. A-Train's girlfriend that was the ex-superhero or whatever that was a drug addict.
Oh.
How he like sprints around the room and like injects her to kill her to make it look like a suicide.
Yeah.
But like he can do that, but then it's inconsistent with like other, moments when he's like slower fighting and
right,
stuff.
like somebody, because it's like he should always just be faster and be able to win because he's faster. Yeah,
I could just around.
Yeah.
So that bothers me, and it literally keeps me up at night. Like I would lay there afterwards and be like, why didn't they call me in? Like I would have helped.
Yeah.
I would have let them know what was unrealistic.
Where was the writer's room?
Yeah, or just be consistent. It can be unrealistic, but be consistent. That's my thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I go towards nonfiction, because like I don't have to worry about that.
Well, that's the thing, is there's some things with really good rules where they set the rules
I
up
would like that.
and they don't break them.
Like what?
I'm trying to think of a good example because I know it. Because it's like I want to say like Star Trek, but then it's like, and it's funny too because the fans I feel like will justify it. Like if you go on wikis and stuff, and you look up Star Trek and you're like, well, why are dilithium crystals this in one episode but that in another? And some fan has like gone through and like written a whole thing about why, and it's not
That's cool,
it's
though.
not a good like explanation, but it's enough that you're
They're
like,
trying.
okay, fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's also like, like the original series of Star Trek, the Klingons were just like, they had dark face paint on, and then the movies started coming out and they had the ridges on their foreheads, and it's like, well, why are they different? And there's like a cheesy wink and a nod in a Deep Space Nine episode where they run into like a Klingon who doesn't have that because they go back in time, and Worf is like, "Arr," and they just sort of go like, "Arr," and they just pretend like it didn't happen, you know?
At least that's like they've addressed it. Like that's kind of fun. Yeah.
But the fans will have like, well, those Klingons are blah, 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 and that's why these ones, and you don't see them anymore. And so it's like,
Yeah, I don't understand the fandom either. I don't think I've ever been like a super fan of anything.
Yeah.
Even when I was really into something as like a kid, I wasn't like really into it. Like I love the Backstreet Boys I knew their names and that's about, and their songs. You know what I mean? That was like about it. I didn't know about their lives. I didn't know.
It's because you're like a person all on your own. And some people need an identity, so they graft it onto Star Wars.
It's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
No, but you are, right? I mean,
maybe that's why I don't get it. Yeah, because like the person who takes the time to write, justify the movie, you know, it's like they have some personal stake in it. Like, yeah, I just never feel that way.
Yeah, no, because I mean, why do people get so mad about these things?
Yeah,
like when something isn't good, or someone else hates it and they love it, or they hate this thing that everyone loves, or it's because their identity's wrapped up. It's like politics, right? Like people just get so lost in it, and they can never zoom out and go like, "Oh, this is dumb. Why am I doing this?"
Yeah, that's actually probably a really good analogy.
That's what you came here for.
And I feel like, because I do say that with politics, I'm like, oh, I definitely sometimes do that with politics. And then I'll have this like, I'll be like in a heated argument, right? And then I'll have that aha moment of like, why are we doing this? Like, let me float up and just watch. And this isn't necessary. You know, I shouldn't be cussing at someone, or I guess I don't really do that, but you know, belittling or whatever.
No, totally. I want to bring up an example of something that might do that, but I don't want to I don't know. Like we talk politics all the time.
Yeah, we talk politics a lot. And we'll sometimes get like not heated, but like we'll have disagreements that are like.
Yeah, but that's what I like is like you and me and Nick will like do that, and then we don't hate each other after. And I don't understand why so many people can't do that. Because it's like totally like, okay, so I was going to say.
But it's probably what you were saying, the being able to separate yourself kind of from it. Like. Yeah. And there's probably a level of privilege associated with that. Or I know there's a level of privilege associated with that too, right? Then that like...
Probably, but it's also like, you know, you could be anyone at the corner store drinking Mountain Dew and eating Skittles, and you have a phone with Google. Like, you know, you can educate yourself. It's just like, do you want to? At this point.
Yeah. But like, I don't know if politics comes down to education. Like,
or just
there's
like
plenty of people on both sides who
becoming
think
like more of a person. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, privilege is definitely part of it. I'm just saying, like, I was like really dumb for a long time.
When did
and
you?
Now I'm a genius. No, but I feel like I've said this a bunch of times, and it's weird, but I feel like podcasts like saved me. Not this one, but just like listening to other people have opinions and thoughts and being like, oh, you could think that way. Or you could like, this is the thing. It just helps you empathize with a lot of people, and then you just kind of go like, we all have our own dumb points of view. Yeah. You know, and then maybe there's a right one and a wrong one ultimately, or something like that. But it's like, if you can understand why someone has their point of view, then you won't get mad about them having it, right? Because if you understand why they have it, then you go, oh, okay, like, I don't agree with you, but I don't hate you.
So you're saying, like, listening to podcasts is, like, expanded your worldview of, like, you're hearing people's perspectives that you wouldn't have otherwise heard. Totally. Yeah, that's cool.
And doing comedy, because I grew up in Folsom, and I was very sheltered, and everything was white, and, you know. Yeah. And then I started doing stand-up, and I'm going to Midtown all the time, and having all these new friends, and, like black friends, gay friends, like, just all these people that I didn't know in full. Like, I remember in high school, like, there was like a kid that we thought was gay, but he would never have told us. But it was like pretty obvious he probably was. But I was just always thinking like, he can't really be gay though. That's like, that like doesn't happen here. Too much. Yeah. I was just like, that doesn't happen here. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it does. Like, but I was just so sheltered and grew up religious. It was like impossible to fathom. And then you just are around it, and then you're like, oh yeah, that's totally fine. It's normal. And
and that is like a beautiful thing of. Hopefully that happens to most people with aging too, right? Like
yeah, so it doesn't, but it doesn't. I know most people get older and they're like,
and that's what's sad is like,
why do they let them drive? You're like, that's what.
Like if you stay in the same town, even like people can stay in the same town and be educated, but like. Yeah, that's what's scary is the people that are just surround themselves with like the same bubble their whole life. Because I definitely I came from a small town too, and like I would say I was liberal minded, but then almost in a way like my adulthood helped to like justify my beliefs from before. It actually gave me real world examples or something, if that makes sense. Like I would say I don't remember ever not being like liberal minded, I guess is the word I'm going to use, but. Definitely, adulthood gave me examples of like, all, run the gamut of people and lifestyles and stuff.
It helps to be around them. 'Cause
Yeah.
when they're not a real thing to you, because I was just listening to Two Bears, One Cave, Tom Segura's podcast, and he was talking to Bobby Lee. I was like walking around setting this up, listening to it and laughing, and she's like, "You sound like an idiot."
I said a crazy person.
Yeah. Same thing. No, I'm kidding. No, but and they were talking about how, because Bobby Lee's Korean, obviously, so he was talking about growing up and it's hard, and white people would say stuff to him, and so then Tom was just saying like, you go around the country and a lot of people are isolated. Like a lot of people, like we live in Sacramento. It's pretty diverse here. You go to Folsom, Placerville, it becomes very white.
On the West Coast, I think. Third most diverse city, yeah.
After San Francisco and like Portland
and
or something.
Stockton.
Oh, Stockton.
Yeah. Or maybe it might be California.
Stockton counts as a city?
Yeah. It's a really diverse city.
I thought it was like a shit stain. No, I'm kidding. Okay.
But it's diverse.
I'm joking. I love you guys that live there. Yeah. No, but yeah, it's like you just kind of forget that. This is the other thing about the election, I think, is a lot of people were shocked that so many people voted for Trump. And it's like, well, a lot of those people don't have, like they don't even think about the racist stuff necessarily. They're just like, I like he's a Republican, so I like that. And they're not even thinking about, because they don't have friends who are telling them like, he's putting people in cages, he hates blacks, like he's telling the Proud Boys to stand strong or whatever the fuck he said.
Or if your worldview is that you don't know, like, oh, it's a rumor that people are being put in cages, or those are bad people being put in cages. Totally. So like, it makes sense. He's trying to stand up for Americans, however you can justify it.
Yeah. And then when you don't have any other narratives, it's like just what you think. And you're like, yeah, Trump. And you might not even be like one of those dicks with a flag on your truck, like driving down the street or whatever, yelling at people. It's like, I understand how it happens. And like, or.
I have family members that I love, and think are amazing people that are Trump supporters. And we don't talk politics, or very lightly skirt around politics, but know how each other feels.
Yeah.
But like, the whole narrative of like, you can't, you could never care for someone on the other side of the aisle or something. It's just like, that's preposterous to me because it's like, I don't get it. And it's weird. You just have to spend time with people. Yeah.
I really think it's that. It's like, and a lot of people are they're in a rut. Like they have a job or they go to school and they do those things and then they go home or they go to the gym and they go home. Like they don't go out and try different things. I mean, I don't know how much you do different stuff. Like you travel and things, so you try to experience things and go do stuff. But for me, it's like I've done stand up a bunch and I've just driven to weird places. Like I've seen more of California than I think most people have. Because I've like done this open mic that's like in Jackson or something, or just like little towns you would never go to.
Yeah.
And I've just seen all kinds of stuff, and like comics are so weird and varied.
Yeah.
You get like scumbags and rich kids and weirdos and like gay, trans, like just everything is.
Just
everyone's a comic.
The gamut of people. Yeah.
And it's like it's fascinating, and you start to like love just the difference of people, and it gets boring to just think of only like Jeffs who
from your hometown
drink beer at the local brewery, and they
hit
play
on Kathy every Friday night
and they play cornhole and I don't know, like those things can be fun sometimes, but
and it's like you can't, what am I saying, those people have a life, right, that makes sense to them. Yeah. And they think like this is how life is because it's what I do and I enjoy my life.
Why would you want anything other than this?
Yeah. Like I like going to the bowling alley and hitting on Kathy on Friday nights and getting my
one of these days I'll get her. Yeah. Not in a creepy rapey way, just like in a one of these days
a good man offering a good woman.
She'll see the value of me, Jeff. She might even call me Jeffrey.
Her little Jeffrey.
Hopefully big Jeffrey. But it's okay if she calls it little.
But I mean like those
only if
people.
It's endearing. And then I'll be okay with it.
Those people exist. And then there's also on like the total opposite other way, right? The people who are like super extreme like
left wing.
Think about like how everything can affect anyone, and
and you have to watch every word you say because you could offend someone, and that person's feelings will be hurt, and then the end of the world will happen because of that.
Exactly.
It's I don't know. But I mean, the pendulum had to swing, right? It's like there's a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah, true.
Got to swing this way, and then it'll probably correct somehow, and hopefully, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it just perpetually goes back and forth, but hopefully it lands in the middle somewhere where people can have fun and do jokes and fuck around, but also be respectful of people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of like emotional intelligence that people don't learn. I think that's a big thing.
Yeah, I so agree with that.
Because if you when you're with the right people, you can like fuck with them. You joke with them, you talk shit, you have fun, and then they know and you know that you're joking.
Yeah, that's what's so weird about social media, right? Because on social media, and we've had this conversation before, but like you're friends with like every workplace you've ever worked at.
Yeah,
your
get
distant
like
relatives,
circle of those people. Yeah,
your immediate relatives, your friends from high school, your friends from college.
Grandma, she still likes my posts. I don't know if she knows we broke up.
Oh no.
Also, she spelled her last name wrong, and it's very cute.
Oh, that's
it's
really
the cutest
cute.
grandma shit.
Yeah, that's such a grandma thing to do. I love that.
I think it's okay to say that it's supposed to be Ortega and it's Ortgia.
No one's told her, or she's just like, I don't know how to fix it.
I don't know. I told my girlfriend or my ex-girlfriend, and she was like, yeah, I don't know.
But that is what is so hard about social media, and that becoming like the norm of how you interact with people, because like never before were we expected to interact with everyone in our life in the same way. And I have to, like, I go through phases of being like, I don't care, like I'm just going to post about my life and stuff. But then I also go through these phases of being like, oh, you seem like super egotistical if you post about this, and like your ex-coworkers see it, or like, oh, how are your current coworkers going to think about this, or how would my family think if I'm posting me drunk at a, it's just like a weird.
Will an ex-student find me?
Yeah,
and say
that's a big
and,
one for me as students. Yeah.
Well, and then it's like there's a thing of, I feel like I used to be more just like, I got something cool, I'm going to post it and share it like an Xbox or whatever. And now I have this weird hesitation. I don't know if it's weird, but I have a hesitation. Like I got a Series X and the new Xbox, and like I didn't want to post about it. I didn't want, because so many people can't buy one and they're hard to find. And I got lucky that a friend had ordered two, and I just bought his. And I'm like, it just looks like gloating.
I think the same thing all the time. I think, so even like with places I go, I'll be like, I'm just going to post like one or two photos, or none, or like, not wanting to seem like overly happy or something, which is like shitty. But it's also like this weird, who are you sharing with on social media? Is it for us? Is it for...
I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's not to update your... It's like, it's just... Honestly, like the thing that drives me besides wanting this to all be successful somehow, which is, whatever. I mean, the podcast is like the least important thing I do. I just do it because it's fun and it's good to have one. No,
I know.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's
you're just like hanging out.
This
talking.
Is like, I set up some stuff and we're talking.
Putting my slips up.
But like, they're good. But like, when I make like a sketch or something I wrote or edited a lot, that's the stuff I really want people to see.
Yeah.
And they end up just seeing the podcast, but they'll see like 5 seconds of it and be like, "Oh, is that you do another podcast?" I'm like, "No, this one's like it's like a vlog, but I'm making fun of vlogs." But and it's like I put all these clips in and I edited it like to the frame on some stuff, and I put the sounds in. Like, can you watch it?
That does it. Like, whereas it's very different than like slap. Like this, basically, it's gonna be like a continuous stream, pretty much, right?
Where I won't cut anything unless you're like, "Can you cut that thing?" I said.
No, cut that thing. That I said. But yeah, I mean, I know. Even I just think about being on the what was your hot tub show called?
Epic Tiki's Tiki Talk Show.
Tiki's Tiki Talk Show.
Yeah.
The amount of effort that went into making that show was just like.
That's why none of them have come out since yours was the last one.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, because we did so many, like. How many bits did we film afterwards? Like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
The
I
amount
treat
of
it
talk.
like a show. It's like, I want it
Which
to be...
Which it was great.
Like a TV show, because it's a talk show that I want almost to have like an SNL quality of like sketches. Like, but they're like they're like sketches that are punchlines to things we said in the interview or talk.
I mean, it was really fun and well done, and I thought, I had a great time with that. But like, I get how the amount of time you had to put living with you, knowing that you were editing it, and like the amount of days you were editing and stuff was just like, holy shit. Because I don't do any of that, so I would have had no idea how much work went into that.
Yeah, and then also just, I feel like for the amount of work it is, the return on it is not great. Because I'll put an episode out, I get like 15, 20 views, and I'm like, I spent like 2 weeks editing this.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes I do that with the vlogs, but the vlogs are easier. They're just like me sitting in a chair.
And you can turn those, I mean, like your Prop 69 one, you turned that out in like a day.
Yes, that was a quick thing, but yeah, that one was like, I thought of the idea, and then I filmed it really quick, and then I just cut it together. And luckily, I have like a stock footage service that I subscribe to, so I have all this footage I could just throw in there.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But I mean, yeah, it's a lot, and this is easy. Like this is also like I do this because it is good, easy content to do.
Yeah.
It's like I can put it out if you want. It's there to listen to the whole thing. If not, I will find some clips and put that up, and you can enjoy like the funny part that we laughed at. Haha, like great, you know. And that's yeah. I mean, I was talking to name drop Kyrie Shabazz about this, and he's like, no, like you don't feel bad, like even if no one cares right now or knows, it's like you're building a backlog so that when someone does find you, I'm trying to just think of this when I do stuff so I feel better about it, because I still feel like I'm just throwing nothing at nothing. But he's like, if someone does find you and they like what you do, there's like a whole scroll, you can scroll back and find so many things that you've done. It's like a backlog of content. So if they like you, there's all this shit they can check out. And that's good. But I mean, it hasn't happened yet.
And like, hopefully when you have guests who like their friends see they're on it or whatever, like it might lead people to you.
It happens a little bit. Some people are cool. Like when Artie Valenzuela did it, he shared it with his friends and told a bunch of people. And then he was like, I got the most views for you, didn't I, Luke Swain? And I was like, okay. So, yeah. Yeah, it's good. Some people come on and don't share it, so that's upsetting, but, whatever.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'll share it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll make you, so it's okay.
We live together.
I'll be like, you don't have to have the deposit back. Just share this shit. Can you? I don't know. I'm worried that you're not in the frame.
Oh, shit. I'm getting too comfortable.
It's okay. No, it's fine, because I'm leaning back, but Lilo's sitting there.
I saw you leaning back, so I was leaning back.
No, it's okay. I can turn the camera maybe if we have to.
I can sit like this.
Are you sure? Because if you're not comfortable, I don't want that.
I'm comfortable.
Nacho's comfortable.
Nacho is out. He is so cute. He's out.
He's got his legs stretched out, and he's just like...
his eyes aren't even fluttering, like he's out. Oh. His nose looks kind of red. Is it always that red?
Yeah,
that's
normal.
The color? Okay.
Lilo's out, too.
Yeah.
You guys see Lilo? That's so nice. We both have very cool dogs.
Yeah, they're cute. They're going to really miss each other.
I was about to say that, yeah. I think even Lilo will miss Nacho.
Yeah. Nacho's like such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Lilo will like lash out.
Him.
Yeah. She attacks him like once a week. But
like once? It's totally fine.
But he has such heart that he's just like, all right, like, sheesh. Like, okay, having a bad morning. I'll come back later.
He's not an alpha at all.
Yeah. But he just like, I like that he doesn't give up. Like she'll attack him and then 5 minutes later he's coming back in the room like, we good?
Yeah. He's like, are we going to play now?
Yeah. I'm like, I'll just put it behind us.
Games?
Yeah.
Can I bite your tail? Is that cool?
He'd be just like, he's a good, like you could get any second dog and like he'd be friends with them.
Yeah. He would just, whatever they want him to do, he'd be like, I'll do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
I know what I do. Oh, little Nacho. That's very cute.
I don't look forward to watching this and then seeing how often I'm reaching for my
I was going to
glass.
say, you're definitely ahead of me.
It just tastes good.
I'll drink some more. It is pretty good. Thank you, the Spurgles.
Thank you, Spurgles. This is like a staple wine of the house. I feel like I've had this multiple times.
When they moved, my stepdad and my mom went to help them move and pack shit up, and they sent home probably 15, 20 boxes of wine. Like each box has 6 bottles in it, and they divided that between like 3. Like they got a stack of 4 boxes. I got a stack of 4 boxes.
Is this the recently?
So that's like 24 bottles of wine.
Because when you moved in, had bottles of this wine.
Yeah, because at Christmas they would give us a box of 6 every time.
Okay.
So, but now they're cleaning it out because they had to move. So they had all this extra wine, and I don't think they ever intended to sell it. It was just like a hobby that they like to do. So
yeah, I think it's really good. I will say I sort of think it all tastes this. Not that anyone at home can taste it, but all kind of.
It's a good thing they don't know how podcasts work. No.
Like the rosé or whatever we had.
Yeah.
I swear to God, it tastes the exact same as this. Like
really? No, the rosé's different. If we busted that out, you'd be like, oh, it's different.
Okay, this is
we
what
should
I
have done
remember.
a wine tasting.
Yeah, we should have.
We could do a vlog of that.
Okay, let's do it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Coming up with ideas. for
Yeah.
you, but,
I don't have good vlog ideas sometimes, but that'd be fun, and then we could just talk about it. I don't know. There's
Drink
at least 3 different kinds. There's the rainy red, there's the Cabernet,
and the
rosé. There might be another one if I have
and
an
I
older
feel
one.
like I've had them all, but this is what they all taste like to me. But it's not bad.
No,
it
it's
tastes
good.
good.
Serviceable, delicious. I'm not a sommelier either. I can't tell.
It's sommelier.
Sommelier.
Sommelier. I think it's a sommelier. Yeah.
Sommelier.
Yeah.
Somalian pirate.
But smell makes sense. Like
I'm the wine taster now. What? Yeah.
gulp, gulp, gulp.
Have you?
Gulp, gulp, gulp.
That's what I like about you. You're like no, do more. It's fine. It's gonna be just have fun.
A drinker.
Yeah. But especially when you do drink, you're like, just jump off the cliff. It'll be fun.
We're all gonna do it together, guys. Yeah, I do realize
I'm right behind you.
I like to if I'm at a social gathering and I hone in on that someone's not having a good time.
Yeah.
Or that they're not jiving with people. I have this mission of go drink together, become friends.
Yeah.
But I realize I'm really pushy because I've had a few people.
But you're so nice though that it's not scary ever. That you usually trick them.
True. And I think usually it works, and I see the person's frown turn upside down and we become friends.
Yeah.
But occasionally it doesn't work, and then I just feel I'm oh no, they think I'm so weird and trying way too hard to push them, especially with drinking games or something like that.
Yeah, you were, man.
But I just because it's so much fun. And I want everyone to experience the fun. That's what it is. I want everyone.
The musical
in it.
chairs game, you were
musical flip
dancing cup. The most. You're always just in the middle of that. Because you've had Halloween parties here. We've, yes. Except for this year. It was sad because we couldn't.
Corona.
But every other year that I've been here, the Halloween parties are amazing. And you're always in the middle of the musical flip cup.
Because it's fun. I like drinking activities because you even see shy people. Because I'm not a shy person. I feel I'm I would dance sober. I'm it's at social gatherings, alcohol is there, so I'm not going to pass it up. But I'm not that person that needs it to feel. But there are maybe in the comedy world, there's a lot of kind of people who I think feel self-conscious.
Oh,
or
yeah.
And
Which
so
is really
I
interesting.
love that about getting a little drink in someone, that they're more fluid and just gonna have fun.
Yeah.
I strive for that.
And then later you find out they're 10 years sober.
I know. Oops. Oops.
I've meant to say 10 months, and that probably would make more sense. Because then it's they could revert pretty easily, but I don't know, whatever.
But yeah, I mean, that's case in point that it's not good that I always try to, because I'll try to pressure people, be you want to have a drink, come on, you want to play the game, you want to, and in my mind I'm no, I just want you to have fun and come play, and I'm trying to involve you.
Yeah.
But then for people who don't want to drink, that would be so what the fuck, lady? I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
So I need to cool it.
I've never, I don't actually. I believe you, but I don't think I've seen you do that. But I think it's because I've never needed that.
Yeah, so I wouldn't go up to you and be drink. Well, I'm sort of doing it right now, right? Pouring your drink.
Wait, use a mic.
Ah,
sorry.
I'm sort of doing that because I'm pouring your drink. No, would that not work?
I think it came through, but I don't know. We'll see.
That makes me seem way drunker, so maybe don't.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, like I said, it's you. Well, I said that on the one that got cut out, but because I messed up at the beginning. But you do improv and not stand-up.
This is true.
So you're not as good with the microphone.
I'm not good at mics.
See, I even. It's probably gross, but I'm just used to like whatever the mic is,
Yeah.
wherever
feel
I
like-
am. I rest it on my chin, and it actually literally touches my chin. And a lot of comics do this, and I don't know if it's gross, but I do it everywhere I go. And
You haven't got corona yet.
no.
Yeah, I feel like that is like I can picture like pictures of you doing stand up. That's how it is. To me, this feels really awkward.
Yeah. Well, I've developed
Muscle memory.
comfort with it. It's just like a thing I do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody somewhere told me like this is the optimal positioning. Like rest it on your chin. Your voice will go over the mic and it'll catch everything, and you have a lot of control. And it's just like you just keep it there, and you just always have it in that spot. And no matter where you turn, how fast you turn, it's there.
Oh, I spun out. No.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm definitely not used to it. To
Yeah.
me, this feels gross. I don't want it on my
Totally,
chin.
it is gross, especially with a bunch of dude comics with
yeah.
stupid beards, and a
Like,
lot of them don't shower good,
yeah.
and they're just like
No.
they're just yelling and spitting into it.
Yeah.
I've smelled some mics that smell gross. These are luckily not a lot of people use these. I mean, just for podcasts.
Yeah,
Really.
it doesn't smell like anything.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like hour at a time, and it's not every night for
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, I bet like open mic night mics
Yeah.
don't smell good.
Comedy spot mics or
Yeah.
the one at Stab probably.
Yeah, I've never done an open mic. I've never had a mic up to my face like this.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this too probably at some point, but have you ever like wanted to do stand up?
I have, and like sometimes when I first was getting into improv, I had so many like stories, which like I would just use as monologues. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it like worked.
That's why I think a
And-
lot of improvisers, if they do monologues, they could do stand up.
Yeah. I just feel like it's like a mindset you have to be in, because I used to I would just always think about how things that happened in my life were good monologues. Like, although this is funny, like someone will want to hear about this, but I don't feel like even before quarantine, I don't do that as much anymore. Like I don't focus on, maybe I'm not as present as I used to be, because I don't focus on my life as much. And like, I feel like I have less stories to tell.
There's not stuff to do as much.
Yeah, but I feel like I was feeling that way before COVID, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, okay.
But like, yeah, when I was first getting into improv, I thought, oh, I could do I have like some things I could formulate into bits and stuff, and I thought about it. But to me, it's just so much more effort, I think, to do stand up, because the constant like tweaking of I worked the bar at the Comedy Spot during open mic, and like hearing people make those minor tweaks to their sets and stuff, and like things that I'm sure they thought were gonna kill that don't. I think that would like crush me. So I don't know.
But it doesn't crush you if you say something you think's funny in a scene,
because you're only saying it once and then it's done. You know what I mean? I didn't
Well, and I guess
think
someone
a
might
ton
pick it up
about
for
it.
you.
Yeah.
Like they could turn what wasn't funny about your thing into something funny, and then you could jump on that.
Or if your monologue that you thought was super funny doesn't kill or whatever, it's like, okay, well, that was the one story and I don't tell it again. But like as a comic, you'd be like, crap, like I would have a hard time just like abandoning something that I thought was funny that just didn't work at one open mic. I'd want to like keep trying it and stuff.
No, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right. But I think that would be like that takes a lot of confidence in yourself that I'm not.
Well, that's why you do it so much that you have your soul crushed. And then after your soul's crushed, you lose it somewhere and it never comes back. And then maybe one day you start to be funny. I don't know.
I feel like I don't have the
think you could
the
do
heart.
It. I think
for
anyone. I still feel like this. I feel like this less than I used to, but because of who I used to be before I did stand up, I feel like almost anyone can get into stand up and start doing it well. Not that I'm really great or anything, but I'm much better than I used to be. And I think anyone can get to a point that they're pretty funny. It's just like, are you able to understand, like, do you want to do it so much? You have to do it like so much that you get past a bunch of shit and you start to not care. Because for me, at least for me, it's different for everyone probably, but for me, it's like I had to get to this point where I've done it so many times that I'm like, I've bombed everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen again. And I don't care. And I'm just going to go up here and fuck around. And I have jokes, I'm going to tell them, but I'm also just going to fuck around and see what happens. And it sucks because I finally started feeling like that this year. And then
well,
COVID
hopefully
happened.
that confidence will carry with you once things
Yeah.
are open. Because I feel like just watching stand up, there's a lot of comics I think that aren't at that point yet. That
No,
you can tell are
yeah.
like crushed
They
when
care
they
a
don't.
lot.
They care a lot, yeah. And I don't know if I would like to think I'd be that way, where I'd be like, oh, it ain't nothing, but
You always care. You for sure always
Yeah.
care, but it's easier and easier. Like the more you do it to get to a point where you're like, okay, it bombed that time, but like, and you also know it's like, it depends on if you're working on it. If you're going to mics constantly and you're saying the joke again the same way
yeah,
and you're not changing it somehow,
and not getting laughs,
then
and
you
not-
do
yeah.
hate yourself because you know you're not doing any work. You're
Yeah.
not taking the feedback of the last couple sets and adding it to it or
Yeah.
subtracting and changing.
Yeah, that's. I can think. I'm not gonna like call anyone out or anything because that's super rude. But like, I can think of
But
a
you
few.
know so
I
many.
can think of a few people's sets who I hear again and again and like
Yeah.
hardly ever get laughs, and
Yeah.
it'll be like a big build up to this thing that like gets just like mediocre
And they never
response.
change tone or inflection
Yeah,
or,
so I
or
wonder
even
if they-
writing or anything. Yeah.
Kind of makes me feel better that they hate themselves when they go home. So at least they
Yeah.
know.
See, you could totally be a comic because you have that in you.
But I mean, yeah, but it's easy for me to judge other people, right? But like, if it was me, I don't know if I would know to switch it up or whatever. Either be like, oh, there was just like a
But that's why
crummy
you record
crowd,
it,
or
you know?
yeah,
You know what happens a lot of time too is I'll have a good set. I'll feel like that was great, and I come off stage and people are like, that was pretty good. Yeah, like good job, you know.
yeah,
And then I feel really good about it, and then next week I'll like go to an open mic and I'll listen to that set and be like, what did I do? How can I make it better? And I'll like listen to it and I'm like, it wasn't like that good.
yeah. In the moment,
then you just like really
yeah.
feel like shit.
Well, and I feel like that's probably what improv is. That depending on the night and the audience, but like you can think you fucking crushed because you did that night, but you could have done the same thing the next night and it not crushed. Whereas stand-ups don't have that luxury, right? To like depending on the audience and how they take it or whatever.
Yeah, you have
So-
to. Yeah, you have to like develop a weird sort of like you're saying the same stuff to people, but you have to adjust how you're saying it
Yeah.
sometimes. I mean, you know, if it's good enough, you could kind of do the same thing in like most crowds or crowds. But yeah, like for sure, there's times where you can't just say your joke. You have to go into it a certain way, or you have to deal with this person talking, or
Yeah.
or something, or the energy's weird, and you have to get them up, and then you can do that joke because the joke wouldn't have worked 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know. I miss it. I want to do it again. It's
I mean,
like
you will be able to.
I know,
it's
but
not dead.
I'm like just talking about it, just all that stuff, and like, just I feel I don't know what happened, but like a switch flipped in my brain, and I feel better about it. I just feel way more confident.
About stand up and stuff, you mean?
Yeah, like
'Cause
just being on stage and like not like just
Well,
like
I feel
being confident and not caring and having fun. And I really feel like if I was like able to go do stuff, I'd be like writing new stuff all the time and really honing it. I don't know.
I also feel like what switched for you is that stand up's not like your main focus. It's just kind of like an outlet to have fun. And so
yeah,
that's
I was
probably what
treating it like a
happened.
really important.
Yeah,
this is
and
it,
that now
yeah.
you're just like, oh, I like doing this. It's something I do, but it's not like your end all be all. Like
Yeah.
whereas like you're writing and wanting to do that stuff. So that's probably what it is. Because I've gone through phases with that too. Not that I ever wanted to like be an improviser or anything, but I always feel like the nights I get the biggest laughs and I have like the most fun and I feel like I really was on nights that I don't care and I'm just like, well, I have so much going on. This is like my stress release and I'm having fun.
Yeah.
But then like the nights where I'm like, but I want to be funny and I hate that my friends are funnier than me and you know, start getting in your head.
When you're feeling
then-
jealous or worried about, and
Yes,
you
then
need
it's
the
usually
experience to be good.
worst. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when you need it, you're like, I have to go up and get laughs right now.
And then you suck.
Yeah.
Then you, it's always, yeah.
Yes,
I've never had a good night when I was feeling self-conscious, which happens like a lot or was happening a lot.
You know what's really crazy? I feel like this is obvious, but I feel like I told someone recently this, but I think of stand up as like talking to girls. It's like, or the opposite sex or whoever you're into.
Yeah.
It's like the less you care, the more successful you are.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So it's like I sort of started being that way dating, and then I got more successful, and then it's like I started thinking about stand up that way, and I'm like, yeah, like when I go up and I'm just fucking around, it goes so much better.
Yeah.
I mean, like I have a plan or whatever, but I'm just in my mindset. My mindset is like, just fuck around and have fun. Like, you know these people. You don't know these people, but maybe you do.
Yeah.
But it's like,
or they don't matter, or like they're just have a good time. I'm having a good time.
Yeah. And you're just like, and it is like the spirit of yes and. Even when you're doing stand up, it's like that idea that like this is the energy, and I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna make it my energy too.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna meet you guys, but I'm also gonna take you where I want to take you. And I think you can do that with both.
Yeah.
Probably.
No, I think that's
Now I'm getting like a little buzzed and stuff, so I'm like philosophical. I'm like, this
profound,
I'm so confident in these like these theses that I'm writing out loud through the microphone.
It's killer rhymes.
Yeah. Oh, we just hit an hour.
Is that
Pretty good.
Okay.
We can go. We can go however long. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you have to do more grading?
No, I'm not gonna grade after this. I'm always behind on my grading. Oh my god.
Let's real talk. How many times have you graded drunk? I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer that.
I have, but if I were to grading drunk, it's like to the kids' benefit because it's just like a check off. You did it. So
Yeah.
you're welcome, kids, that I drink. When I'm sober is when I'm a harsh grader. But I just, as a teacher, that is, every teacher I know, I think would say that's like the worst. Actually, I knew one teacher, thank you, who was into grading and thought grading was like fun. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, who are you?
That's like the weirdo that I worked with at Borders who wanted to be at the register. Like, what the fuck is you want to do the same shit for 5 hours in a row? Just like, did you find everything you were looking for? Do you have a Borders Rewards card? Would you like to sign up? It gets you 20% off coupons all the time. It's free. You just need your email. Okay. What is your email? What'd you say? Oh, okay. Wait. At UC at att.net? Oh, no, Comcast.net? Oh, like, oh my God.
So what's funny about you saying that, though, like, in
you worked
my
at retail,
6-year stint at Victoria's Secret.
6 years?
6 years. I've had so many different jobs at VS. They got me through college. I will say, as much as it's a company that has been, like, not the most progressive and, like, you know, bad standards of beauty and stuff, they did work with my college schedule, and I will always appreciate that.
The owner who was mentioned in the Jeffrey Epstein docuseries on Netflix.
Ooh, he's no longer apparently the CEO or an owner.
What was he referenced about?
He went to like one of the child islands or whatever. He went on one of the trips with the little kids. Yeah. And
I mean, is 15
in
a little kid? I mean,
yes, it is. As a high school teacher, I will say yes.
Yeah. After interacting with them all day.
Yeah, very little. But that's I actually liked the registers because it was like consistent and easy. So I was actually one of those weird. Just you saying that, I was like, oh shit, that was the weirdo thing to do. I was like one, and I was like, one of my jobs was like cash trap lead, which is like you're one of like the main, like before management. I was like one of the main.
Did you count the registers out or something?
And in management, I did. I don't think I did as cash trap lead. Or maybe I did. I don't remember. But like I just always was on the register. I was in management too. As like I was there for 6-5. I would hope I was in management after 6 years.
I almost became a manager, and I got, man, that shit fucked me up. Do you have? I have a story, but
no, give it to me. I wasn't going anywhere with this. I was just that I liked
that you liked
doing
it,
the money, and I liked signing people up for
my
credit
thing
cards.
was like it was so mundane. It was like boring, and I have to repeat myself 100 times.
Yeah,
I just didn't like that. And then we would have like promotions, like we had to sell like at Christmas time. You know, like it was a lot of work because it was Christmas, so you just do all these hours and stuff.
Yeah.
And we'd have to like, you know, it was like super shameless, awful. Borders had this program where you could like, they would donate books to schools, but the way they did it was the customer had to buy it.
Nah.
So they're still getting all the money, but the customer buys the book, and then we send the book to a school.
Shitty.
Yeah. So they would do stuff like that, but
and they didn't donate any like.
no,
just customer.
maybe they did, but I don't know. I know that what we were doing was asking people to buy a book
to send to a school.
Yeah, and I would try hard sometimes. I'd like and I get like 20 books in a day or 30 and feel good about it. And it's like, it didn't see any, like nothing happened to me.
Yeah.
And it just made the store look good. But what I was going to say was I worked there for 5 years, and there was like a time where I was finally like kind of like I wanted to be a manager, you know, I was like trying to be, and then there like a position opened up and they sort of gave me like a trial run of like 2 weeks, or they were like, we're going to see, like, we're going to train you and like, we'll see what's going to happen. I was like, sweet. And so I started learning how to count the register out and all this stuff. And then it was like a week and a half or 2 weeks into it. And this shitty girl, I don't even care. Like I used to be like, I can't say, I don't know. Like, fuck these people. Yeah. I unfriended the manager that I used to work with because he was an asshole. Like he was very two-faced. Like he'd be really kind and sweet and nice, but he was like, I think he was just a dick. You know, like he just
miserable
sucked.
with his life. Yeah.
I don't even know that. He was just, he basically, it was like cronyism. It was like we had a manager when I started. Her name was Sophia. She was like kind of scary and mean, but she was probably fine. I don't know. I didn't really get to know her. She hired me and I was wearing shorts in the interview. And then afterwards she was like, you should never wear shorts to an interview.
During the interview she said that? At like the
I think after she told me that. Or
like
after
when you were
I got
hired or
something.
yeah.
And I was like, wow, I can't believe I got the job. So, but that was, you know, whatever. And then she quit or left or something. She went to a Barnes & Noble. I don't know. And this guy, Mark, came from the Davis store. And like when he came in and like brought his he brought like one of his managers with him, and he was basically like just like a puppet, like a dictator
moving
coming in,
and
he's just installing his secretaries, you know.
So wait, what did he do on your week and a half?
Oh, so this girl, what the fuck is her name? Her name was Cole or something, because it was like Nicole, but she was awful.
She was edgy.
She's
Cole.
No, I don't know. She just sucked. I hated her. Like, I don't think anyone liked her except him and like his, you know, the friends, like the Davis people that he brought in. And like one of those guys, like most of them were cool. Like this guy Jeremy, he was nice. I'm still Facebook friends with him probably.
Shout out to Jeremy.
Yeah. And then Sarah, like she was cool. I liked her, but she was like best friends with Mark. And then Matt, this guy Matt was great too. He was the cafe manager. But Cole, yeah. So she did this thing where she left our store. She was a manager or something. She left our store and she got to manage a booth at the mall doing calendars, because Borders owned like calendar booths in the mall for a while, and so she started to do that. But I guess like it wasn't that good of a job, and they basically like gave her like all this responsibility and like barely any more money, and it was overwhelming, and so she quit. She just, no 2-week notice, she just quit. She's like, I can't do this, I'm quitting. And then you know, so she should have been just fired, like, because that's fucked up. You can't do that. Yeah. And so, but what happened was Mark, being her friend, liking her, like having previous relationship, like he was like, he saved her, and the only way to save her was to give her my new management spot. Oh, that's
shitty. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like, I didn't handle it very well. Like I was like super passive aggressive to everybody for like a week, because I was just like, this is bullshit.
Well,
like,
yeah, that would hurt super bad. Like,
oh, I know, but I wasn't direct. I was just like acting shitty around people instead of like saying that it was fucked up. And you know, and it's like it was like a weird transitional moment in my life where I was like, I had lots of respect for authority. And then that shit happened, and I was like, "Fuck anyone who thinks they're better than me." You know, like I just it
might have been a good maybe it was like a good moment of growth. And
yeah. No, it was just, man, I couldn't believe that happened too. It's like they basically they never officially gave me the spot, but they were like, "You're gonna be the guy."
Training to do it, yeah.
Yeah, and then they just didn't, and I was like, "What the fuck, man?" Like it was just so lame.
Yeah, that's super lame.
But then, you know, jokes on all of us because the store closed like later that year or the year after, you know, like
fuck books, who reads?
TikTok, social media. Oh man. Have you ever had any, what was like the moment when you realized that adults were stupid? Because that was sort of part of it. There's probably another couple things, but that was like one of the things that set off a chain of events that was like, authority figures suck, and people don't actually know. Like no one actually knows anything. I mean, people do, but a lot of people are bullshitters, or they suck, and they're nobody, and they're not as smart as you are. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think mine came from like me being a teacher. Yeah. Of being like oh shit, like.
Right.
I'm the adult in this moment. Like
I'm the one guiding this classroom.
Yeah, and even like that, just things that you know. Sometimes I'll have kids who are like so emotional, come to me like in-person learning. I'd have like inevitably at least once a year have a kid come to me like crying that they couldn't finish their homework because I have like a pretty strict like late policy, which is like ironic because I'm late always, right? But like if they're late, they miss 50% of the points. And
damn, Miss
because
Berta.
because it's like it's due at this time, it's like, but yeah, it's like I don't know why I do that, but that's what I do because I want them to respect deadlines and be accountable and stuff. But it is ironic because I run late all the time. Like I was never a kid to turn. If I had a due date, I turned it in on time, but I turned it in like right when it's due, and that's how I am as like an adult. And when I'm always behind on grading things and stuff too. Yeah.
Deadlines are good for me because I actually sometimes I'll get good stuff done in that like last hour.
I'm the same way.
Like when I do Stab, the local podcast, which you should all watch and follow their theater. Stab Theater.
Good stuff. Yeah.
They give you like prompts and you do them for the show and you have to like write a bunch of stuff and then they'll ask you during the show like on this day these two things happen. What do you think about it? And you're supposed to have a written thing to say. And like a lot of the time, the best ones I've had are like I had 2 hours before the show to write it.
Oh yeah, that's my whole life. I mean, every paper I've ever written was like night before. That's lessons as an adult, like lesson planning. That's what I do. I'm in my 6th year of teaching, and I'm still that way. Like, where was I? Oh, just realizing, kids coming to me like crying and being like, my dog ate my homework and I don't know how, it's like, oh my God, I'm like the adult force that's like keeping you from like achieving what you want. It just was like a weird.
You're a gatekeeper.
I'm the gatekeeper. Whoa. And that I'm the one that would be impacting your grade. That's something so real to you. Cause to me, it's just kind of like a nonchalant, like, whatever, this is what I do, but
I'm just getting paid.
I don't like.
I'm kind of hungover today.
No, I mean like
I know.
I take my job seriously and I really enjoy my job and like I love history and all that. But like social sciences are my jam. But like that aspect of the job, I don't care about. Like, and I have to like kind of fake it for my. I realize that probably a lot of adults are faking it because I have to fake it because I have to be like, well, Sally. You had a week to work on this. Why did you wait until last night?
Why are you a giant piece of shit, Sally?
But I
don't care that your dad hit your mom last night. You need to get this homework done.
I'm a giant piece of shit. Like I would wait till Thursday night too, Sally, when it's due on Friday. But I can't tell you that. I have to say,
just because your grandma's in the hospital doesn't mean you can't bring your notes to the hospital.
Why didn't you work on it in front of your dying grandma?
I've been to the hospital. I know how much waiting you do in between the doctors letting you into the room. Okay, you better.
Your grandma can't even hear you. You could be on your laptop the entire time. Yeah. So it's just that kind of stuff like made me realize like, oh, everyone's faking it. Like even your teachers are fake. And I know these amazing, like I have colleagues who are like way more with it than me, but like they still do that same shit.
But you're with it. I've heard you talk. Like you're a good teacher.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I don't think. I guess in like all aspects of my life, I don't think I'm like super. There's like certain people I think were like the predestined. Like I'm a teacher, and it's like who I am 24/7.
Oh right, yeah. I don't. They wear like dresses or shirts that have apples on them, like
all the time.
Dude, my first grade teacher was the teacheriest teacher ever, Mrs. Sturdivant.
But I would love to know her outside of school, and like maybe she wasn't.
I would too.
But, yeah.
I would love to know that she just like got double teamed on the weekends or something like that. Like but
she had a life. Like even the teacheriest teachers that are like, I love teaching, have something.
But she straight up like if she had like a mascot for her life, it was the apple. Like she was that fucking like the stereotype of a teacher for elementary school.
Yeah.
And she had, she was the best. She was super nice.
And you love her and think of her in that way, and that's wonderful. Like, and hopefully that was her passion and who she was, and that's what. Definitely, those people exist, but there's not every teacher, and I definitely like and know that as a teacher that's not that teacher, but also know all these like normal ass people, who like in front of students are portrayed that way, you know. So it's weird.
Yeah, I was going to say, my second grade teacher, Mrs. Rowland, now she's rolling. She was probably like on pain pills or something. I don't know. no. I mean, but she definitely like. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, she was probably more like, this is my job. Mrs. Sturdivant was like, I'm gonna make sure these kids all become astronauts. You know, like you could just tell that was like her. She had like light in her eyes when she was teaching us. You know, and then there's like everything in between. My kindergarten teacher was great too. I saw her like years later.
Is that weird?
No, it was cool. It was like 2008. I remember. I know it's 2008 because I went to the midnight release of The Dark Knight on Blu-ray at Best Buy in Folsom.
Jesus.
Yeah, because like that was when it was still like you got to buy the Blu-ray. Yeah. You know, now everything kind of streams, and I still buy stuff. I have like a whole thing over there, but like she was there to get it for her son, and she remembered me. Like she remembers all of her students. It's insane. She's like her and my first grade teacher.
But I think that maybe she didn't, but just said she did.
No, she did. Because we'd see her like periodically over the years, and she'd be like, "Yeah, Luke," and then there was like Nick Payton was in that class, and Chris Jocelyn, and Melissa. Like she would name everyone else in the class. She's like Jimmy Parker, and these are real people, by the way.
Man,
they're real people. They're the best people.
Well, then that's
the people
embarrassing.
I know. I know a lot of people. I gotta say, I know people. They're the best people.
Embarrassing for me because I just ran into a student who I think now is 20. At the Taco Bell drive-thru on election night.
Were they in the drive-thru, like working?
They were working in the drive-thru, and she's like, Miss Berta? And I was like, oh no, because I didn't. She had
like, hey, you.
On. Yeah, she had a mask on and stuff, and hey, and she was like, do you remember me? Which is like the worst thing for a student to do to a teacher. And like now, I remember her.
I woke Lilo up with that sound. I don't know why. She has that thing where you wake up and you're like, what?
Yep.
It's so weird how dogs are like people.
Because Lila's like a little princess. Like, she doesn't like to be disturbed. Nacho would wake up and be like, I'm sorry, did I bother you? Like, oh my bad. But like, Lila's like, what the fuck?
He also wakes up and he's like, what are we doing? Where are we going to go? Like, are we fucking doing shit?
Nacho.
Oh, look at him. He's so sweet.
You're a little bit more extra.
What? Don't ever say that. Yeah, that's... Wait, so what happened? Did you find out? Did you remember who she was?
So I was like, this was a bad thing to do, but I panicked. I said, pull down your mask. Because I didn't know this part of her face.
And then it didn't help?
So she pulled down her mask, and I was like, you...
Oh no!
And then she was like, "It's me," and I was like,
did she say her name? Oh, okay.
And then she did.
Did you remember her once that happened?
Yeah. Yes, I did. So she said, "It's Kat," and I was in class with Angelo, and she started like this was like weird that you said like the like list your teacher did because that's exactly what she did to me. She was like, "In my class we had so and so and so and so and so," and then like I remember that class really well and was like, "Oh yeah, I do remember you and stuff," but like it's just like this weird. As a teacher, you see like. As a high school teacher, I see hundreds of kids every year.
You only see each kid for an hour or so, right?
Hour and a half, yeah.
She would see us all day.
Yeah, that's
for the
true.
whole school day.
And it would be like 30 kids or 25 kids or whatever your class had.
She only had one class.
Yeah, whereas I have 4. Yeah, so that's...
Yeah, it's actually not that weird that you didn't remember her because you had a bunch and they mix up. She had like us for a whole school year and it was just us the whole time. There was no like other periods or something, which I just realized. Like it's like you get used to like in middle school. It's like you start having periods and you forget that. And before I would just sit all day in the same classroom.
Yeah, and you probably forget if you had to go down the line of all the teachers you had each year. That would probably be hard on you. So imagine
I used to be able to do it, but now I don't know. If I think of like freshman year of high school, middle school for sure, I can like remember certain people, but
but probably not every single one. There's like those French teachers because I've tried to do the same thing.
Well, I remember like Mr. Fidel was like first homeroom.
Mr. Fidel.
And he was like third period maybe. And then I had like, but the PE was like weird because I had somebody twice.
So you don't remember them.
Well, I had Mrs. Andriotti and I had I had like something else. I don't know. Oh, and then there was like a teacher who went to high school after. Like they followed us or something.
That's nice. Something that made me feel a lot better about not... Because when I have students in my class, I know them. Like 100 kids each term or more than that, like 120. I will know their names. I make a point to know their names. I don't always know their last name, but I know their name. I know something about them. Like I like pride myself on that. Distance learning, let it go.
You're like, Ahmed rhymes with bed. Cool. I know you.
Yeah, I do have little mnemonics to like, because we play like name games of the first and stuff. But in this book, Sapiens, it's really good that I listened to on Audible, said that like really humans are not.
Wait, don't say Audible. We're not sponsored by anyone. So
we're not sponsored by them, but it was a great.
Don't use Audible. Go to Borders.com and tell my manager he sucks at dick.
I actually bought Sapiens at Capital Books, but reading it, I was reading it way too slow, so I got impatient and downloaded it on Audible. So I actually own the hard
Audible.
I downloaded it online. I downloaded it online, but in the book, wait.
What if I was like really mad about it?
We're not fucking sponsored. One of the things.
Don't bring up 4Hymns. Don't talk about Squarespace. Don't talk about Cushy Dreams. Don't talk about.
I don't even know where. I don't even remember where I learned this. I don't even remember where I learned this. But
I think we're starting to devolve because we're bored.
Now I'm doing that thing where I'm really passionate, where you say,
"That's good. It's good. I like it. It's good."
Humans are only supposed to. We really don't have the mental capacity or the wherewithal. Wherewithal is maybe the wrong word, but like we don't. 150 people is like
yes, I've heard this a bunch of times.
And that we have not evolved to be able to comprehend and care deeply about more than 150 people. Yeah. So it's like that's like the whole problem of like a globalized world, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, but I think about that
and
as
social
like
media,
as like a teacher, social media. Yeah, like there's thousands of people that are supposed to be in like our immediate bubble that there's just no way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and everyone that you've known. You can hold them in a collection. It's like we're hoarding people and relationships that we don't need to hoard.
Where we never would have been able to do that.
Yeah, like there's this couple that's really great. I love them. I used to party at their house all the time. They had beer pong tournaments every year, and I'd go there, and they do it like several times a year. They'd be like, "It's the Winter Classic," and like, and then they'd do like a Halloween one, and we'd all dress up. And I won one of the tournaments once. It was fucking nuts. I think I got laid that night. It was great, great time at their house. But Nick and Caprice, they're amazing. I love them, but I haven't seen them in like 3 years or 2 years. Yeah, and it's like it sucks because I see that like they got married, they had a kid, they invited me to their wedding. I didn't go because I suck. Like it just slowly like becomes I see them less and less.
It dissipates. Yeah,
but like in the 70s, that person would just. You just slowly kind of forget, and then once in a while it'd come up in your head and be like, "Oh yeah, what happened to Nick and Caprice?" And now it's like I can literally see what they look like today, and I don't have this old memory of them. And then I also like they come up sometimes, and I have to think about them and like worry about. And like it's not bad, but it's like it's weird. It's like not.
And even think about that with like exes. Thinking about that with like estranged family members and stuff like that. Like that's weird. Well, high school friends that you haven't talked to in 15 years.
Yeah. Well, that's like a thing. I don't know if it relates, but when we were talking about empathy earlier and like people who've over Trump and like how they're isolated and all that kind of stuff, it's like it is interesting that whole 150 people idea because those people are probably more like that where like, they go to school, they have their high school friends, they might have worked one or two places, they had some friends, but then they get into like they work at this place. And they just have these friends in this community, and like then I think what happens is like social media is like Black Lives Matter, gay marriage, but like all these things come up, and they're just like
gay marriage.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of like big moments, right? Like things that are progressive that are trying to move us forward as a society, and like these people are like. I just like want to go drink at the bar and like I don't want to think and feel bad.
Fits into this,
Like I don't want to feel bad. I didn't even do anything. I just want to hang out. And now I have to like care about this.
Yeah.
Because I've like, I'm not saying I don't care, but I think I totally understand that because I felt a little bit like I'll be feeling great in a great mood. And I go on social media and somebody's like, well, actually Thanksgiving, this is how it really went down.
Yeah.
And then you get all, like I have friends that are like they have indigenous blood and stuff. And so they'll like really get into sharing memes and posts about. Yeah. And it's like, I don't not want to think about it, but I also, a little bit of me is like, I just like, I like enjoying Thanksgiving and I don't want to have to think about the awful shit.
Yeah, it's kind of like what do you do kind of like.
Yeah, because it's like.
All you can do is feel guilty in that moment. Yes. So it doesn't make you feel like you can't do anything proactive. You can't,
Right, and it's like, and sometimes some of those people they'll share something like, you can donate to this thing or blah, 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 and that's cool, But yeah, it is. A lot of it is like just feel bad that you're white.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I don't.
So like that's how I take some of it. I'm not saying it's what they mean or like, but just And I can see how somebody in like Kentucky or like Missouri or Indianapolis, like just someone over there who's just like lives their life is like, wait, I have to feel bad about my skin color.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying, but I feel like it's some people's mission to like reverse it so that now you feel bad. But it's like you didn't.
Yeah.
That person didn't do anything. They're just hanging out.
Yeah, but I would say I get what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying.
I'm just like saying stuff too. Like I don't necessarily believe everything I'm
yeah,
saying, but like,
but I know, like I get that that's like a real feeling that I think a lot of people feel, especially like a lot of white people feel when looking at that, and like, or in like the majority of our like less than 1% of our country is indigenous, right? Like unfortunately.
Yeah.
The indigenous populations have been wiped out, right? But like seeing those posts and being like, oh fuck, like that sucks.
Totally,
like we, you know, like what do I do? But like I don't know if people who post that stuff mean to make people like have like white guilt about it, or it's more so like
it's
this
more
is
educational.
Yeah,
remember
but
this, please.
But that's like a response that a lot of white people have, of like, and that feeling of like, well, is it my fault? And like I don't know what to do. Like, you know, is like it's an awkward time for white people who feel like, well, I didn't have any say in what my ancestors did. You know, am I at fault for this? You know, but I don't think that's what people are trying to say.
Most
it's just
of
kind of
them
like spreading awareness and saying like,
but there is like it is weird because it's like, and what I mean by that is it's weird now. Now it's kind of like almost, I don't know if it's like trendy, but it's like a thing that happened where everything that we enjoy, there's like some kind of sordid history behind it that we have to bring up every time we try to enjoy the thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's good to be aware and talk about it so it doesn't happen again, obviously. We don't want those things to happen again. But it's also like every time something good happens, I have to also feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a tough balancing act, I would say, because... Yeah, like Thanksgiving, like it's a time, like the reason we celebrate Thanksgiving, right, really is like, or in the modern era, it's like getting together with your family, being thankful for your like life and what you have. You know, those are beautiful things. Like that's good. But then when we root it in like this like tradition of like, oh, like, you know, indigenous people and white settlers that came together and like shared this meal. But then when we like, peel back the layers on that, but that's tough because what it's evolved into is not necessarily based on the history, right? But like, as someone who loves history, I feel like I'm always wrapped up in that. Of like, most things in history that we even celebrate as like good, my studies of history always will lead me to like, oh, it was like actually super shitty. Like, there's bad stuff that happened,
Columbus.
but like, whoops,
Well, and like,
but
to be
it's like
fair,
I don't want to like not. I want to know about those things and like they're important and but.
No, I mean I'm glad I know, but it's just like sometimes I'm like, oh, I was gonna like have and like I gotta feel bad a little bit.
I think this goes back to too where it's like I want to post something good that's going on, and then it's like, oh, am I gonna look like I'm gloating, or am I gonna look like I'm insensitive, or am I? Gonna,
I'm hyper aware of white privilege now.
Enjoy your life,
you know?
Which is not a bad thing, right? Like white privilege is something you should be aware of, but like to always feel like you have to like mute yourself and like not share your happiness, then that's like a sad thing.
Well, and it's like not even like to go beyond that, just like overall I don't like okay, I'm looking for a house right now, right? I'm gonna buy a house hopefully soon, and part of me wants to post that picture like got the keys, but also part of me's like that's a douche move, just live there and enjoy it.
And so because I went through, I never posted pictures when I got my house. I felt really shameful too, and I felt like I don't deserve this.
Well, especially because both of us got money from our dad dying, right? So it's like we didn't earn it. Like, so we didn't work hard to get it.
Then, like,
I feel that way more probably than you, because it was a while ago for you. And you make house payments based off of your job. I'm planning to do that with dad money. Like it's
but again, like that's a friend said to me like when I was saying, I remember like something that was like kind of profound that a friend said to me once was like, when I was talking to her about how I felt guilty about like inheriting money and being like, oh, it's not like I didn't earn it, so I don't feel like I can gloat about it. And she was like, Allie, I feel much more privileged than you. Like, I'd rather have a living dad than a lump sum of money. And that to me was kind of like, oh. Like,
that's what my therapist
you're
said.
right.
Yeah.
Like most people, like, yeah, like my mom, I would never put a number on my mom's life, right? Like, and you would never do, like, our moms are worth $1 billion to us, right? Like, we would never, like, that's mom, you know, like, and so
like $1 billion and $1 though. Sorry, mom.
No, but just like that to me was really like, it helped me a lot to be like, okay, maybe it's not, we're privileged to have money, but like there was very unfortunate circumstances that led to it.
Yeah.
But I go into this then like, but some people have shitty parents that they never even got money from, that they, you know, and then I go
totally.
like,
that's the white privilege part, right? Is that
like,
some people's parents die in a car accident late at night, like my dad, but they didn't have anything to leave their kids because they were like not a great parent, or
they weren't in their life
there's no
at all,
generational wealth or whatever.
Yeah.
And so like that's the part I understand is like white privilege, and then I feel bad that my dad, but honestly, like what's hard to explain to people, like, you know, stereotypes go both ways, right? And so like people would just say, oh, you're white, you're rich, you have money, whatever. But like my grandparents came here to this country, so like, you know, if people are ever like, oh, you're a cracker, you own slaves, the whip cracker, you know, like that's where the word comes from. But like, it's like, no, my family was like living in a shitty village in Serbia when I was like, you know what I mean? Like when that stuff was going on, they were probably like living in the mud, eating turnips and in like some shitty village, you know?
Yeah.
And so like,
we just benefit from the structures of white privilege that existed when because I'm the same way. Where
we have doors open to us, right?
Yeah.
But my point was just that my grandparents had to come here and work hard. My grandpa was like a house painter. My grandma like lived at home and took care of the kids.
Yeah.
My mom's parents were like, he worked at like a missile base or something, and she worked as a secretary for years and years.
And that's probably why your dad saved and saved and saved, because of that upbringing, right? Of like having little that he was able to save, you know?
Probably. I think he had his weirdness. But yeah, part of it probably was that. It was like, be safe, save it, don't waste your money. But yeah, I mean, he worked hard. Like, he worked for the state. He was a civil engineer. He could have worked private and made way more money, but he did that because that's what he liked to do. Yeah. So like the money he made was like, because he just was a workaholic. So it's like, I'm not like a Rockefeller where like he died and I inherited like millions of dollars.
Yeah, neither of us, like you're buying like, you're going to be able to buy a nice home, but you're not buying a mansion. You're not buying it, you know.
But I'm still able to buy, like, just even if it was like a shitty condo, it's like just being able to do that. Like most people, I feel like most people I know can't do that, especially my age.
Yeah.
But
again, like most people would say, well, they are benefiting. People who have their parents in their life, whether they're divorced or whether they're, you know, however involved, like still value that person in that life, and that's something to think about of like, that's been forever taken from us, right? Like you're never going to talk to your dad again. I'm never going to talk to my dad again, you know, like.
Well, and then I also feel bad because I'm like, I don't know if I was going to, like, if he was still alive, like I mean, he was such a dickhead that it was like, I didn't expect us to ever repair a relationship, and like the things that he wanted me to change, which was like not to date and sleep with women anymore. I was like, I'm not, like, he literally probably wouldn't have been cool with me until I was married to somebody.
Yeah. But probably later in life you would have rekindled your, you know, like
I mean, he might have become a softie. I don't know, but I mean, I did see him be a jerk to my sister and my niece. Like he wasn't like mean to my niece, but you know, like he had a couple opportunities to like hold her and like play around with her and be like, "Hi, I'm your grandpa," and he didn't do that.
Yeah.
Because my sister wasn't married, and you know, like she did everything right besides that. And that's, you know, arguably like whatever. It's not really wrong to not be married, right? In this day and age,
social construct. Yeah.
But for him, it was like, it wasn't enough that she was still with her boyfriend. They went through law school together. Yeah. They both passed with flying colors. They both passed the bar. They're both working lawyers now. Yeah, they're staying together. They're raising the kid. She's a great kid. But it's like, nope, all that doesn't matter because they're not married. And that's like, that's my dad, you know? Yeah. And that's why I don't feel bad that I write jokes and you know.
Of course. But that the chance at ever having a relationship again or
Yeah.
That's all gone. Like there's no
Well, and
never
what's
is
fucked
that
up though
happening
is
again.
I didn't really want to because he was just such an asshole. But your dad was probably really awesome, right? Like I've heard you always say great things about him.
I know.
So
I don't think ill of my dad at all. But
didn't?
I do not think ill of my dad.
Oh,
at
ill.
all.
I thought you said I don't think I love my dad. I was like, what?
Ill. No, I love my dad. No, my dad was great to me, but
Yeah.
I'm saying, even though you guys were in a rough patch,
Yeah.
what's tough still, even if you're like, oh no, we would have never patched that, you don't really know, and you don't know if he might have just kind of like snapped out of it and been like, what am I doing? These are my kids. This is my grandkid. You never have
He
that
might have,
opportunity again. So
Yeah, no, I know. It's like it's weird. I just like I have zero sorrow for it, which I do feel guilty. Like that's the thing I feel guilty for is how I feel about him being gone.
yeah.
But I've gone through it with my therapist,
Yeah.
and I'm like I'm pretty like good with it. It's just I still sometimes feel bad, like I should feel bad, but I also remember like no, he sucked, but I don't know. It's just it's complicated.
It's a
or
weird.
whatever.
It's complicated. That's a good way to.
But I have like a great mom, and my stepdad's awesome, and we're like I'm super close with my stepdad. He's fun. We have a great time together. We both play the stupid Star Wars game I was talking about
You
before.
spend hundreds of dollars every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like he's the family now.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah,
so,
that's good. Yeah. And that's I love my stepdad too. Like, it's like all, like
Yeah.
the world pushes forward. But again, it's not, you didn't just like, there was cost to the money that you have.
Yeah.
Where and same thing. But I get it. Like, of all people, I feel like I get that because I had that same guilt of like, this isn't my money. It's like weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. Life's crazy.
Yeah. I feel like I had more points or thought. Like I had other things I wanted to say about all this, but I can't remember now. But
yeah, I feel like we're
well, that's a
coming
pretty good
along.
episode. Hour and a half. That's good.
That's a class period, guys. We just went through.
You just went to school.
You just went through second period.
I also want to say this episode, we use my brand new anamorphic lens. So if it looks cooler than normal, that's why. I don't know, but yeah, it does this thing. If you're watching the YouTube version, I'm going to do this. Here's a light, and I don't know if you can see it. It might be hard to see. I can't see from here because my vision sucks from far away. But my flashlight's on, and there should be a lens flare. And so that's one of the cool things about this anamorphic lens. If you can't see it, then I'm stupid and it's dumb, but I'm excited about the lens. It's fun. I did a video about how I pretended it was a dildo from Japan. So check that out. Yeah, I don't know. Social media. I feel like I want to say something about that still, but I don't know. Yeah, no, I mean, I think social. Oh, I think the last thing I just want to say, which I probably said before, whatever. But so like social media makes us. I think a lot of depression and anxiety is triggered by all that because, like we've been talking about, it's like we feel bad about posting good things because it makes other people, and maybe that's like part of being woke. I don't know, but like it's just like
and there are those people.
About,
there's the inverse of that, right? Where like the people who are posting good things all the time but are chronically depressed, but want to push out this image of things are going well.
Yes.
Or we're kind of like the opposite of
like our friend that we like to shit on mutually.
Yes,
that I'll bring a report. I'll be like, oh, I watched so and so's video again, and then there was a smoke alarm going off in the background.
Too specific.
No. I don't care. Like I would say who it is, but I know that it would like people would be upset.
No, I don't like to. I would never shit on someone publicly. I would never shit on someone publicly. But
I would, but I'm not going to because I know other people would care or something.
But I do think that that's like something that's an interesting. Social media, you can be whoever you want to be. You can be as empathetic as you want to be. You can be as I'm the shit as you want to be. Like
you can
that
be
is.
I drive a Lamborghini as much as you want.
But it's rented and you're in debt up to your eyeballs. I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. But like that's a weird, very weird thing about social media is that you see the gamut of people and ways of portraying.
But it's like, how many
identity.
times have you been on there and you feel bad about yourself because when stand-up was going and the pandemic didn't happen yet, I would go on social media on like a Friday or Saturday night and all my friends are like, I'm at this show and it's great. Look at this crowd. And like, who knows what their set was like? Maybe they bombed.
Yeah.
But I would
or
just,
you took that photo as one half of the room, or it's
you did an
way the heads
angle
look,
that avoided how the front row was not full because no one wanted to sit there. Yeah,
Always,
but it's like, man, for anyone who's not there, who doesn't have a show, you just feel like such a piece of shit. And then
I'm just reacting.
No, yeah.
Yes.
But like in the 90s even, it's like you would just not be doing something on Friday and you'd just be like, cool, like I'm taking a weekend off.
Yeah, you would have no idea what everyone else is doing.
But it's like you just have this constant window into like everyone else's life. Literally, like it's just a window to see what they're doing and to feel like you're not doing enough. And that causes so much anxiety and depression. So I don't know. I mean, like, I don't want to... But I feel like if you feel that way, just remember, like, it's okay to not be doing shit sometimes. And, like, some people are overachievers. I don't know.
And no one's doing everything all the time. Like, again, that's either they're portraying this or that, just that's no one's life. Like,
well, and you will say that to me. Like, I'll be like, I feel like I'm a piece of shit today. I didn't get anything done. And then you're like, but you've been, like, doing this video and, like, you're working and, like, you're putting it... I'm, like, surprised how much stuff you're getting out. And I'm like... Really?
You're like, oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because I know the reality for me is I'll sit there in front of my computer watching YouTube a lot. And then I'll just be like, I'm a piece of shit. I should have had like 5 videos done.
Yeah. But then, my perspective of I'll walk by your room and I see that you're editing a clip and that you're like working on stuff. So like,
Which that makes me feel better about my time at the state because my manager walked by and like, I wasn't doing shit, but it looked like I was doing shit.
Would see.
I thought I saw one of my old managers at Trader Joe's tonight, and I was like trying so hard to avoid her.
Oh no!
I don't even know if it was her or not, but it was like I hated her, and I was like, I'm not gonna say hello. I'm like, this is the first time I've been happy the pandemic happened because I had to be socially distant.
And you had your mask on, so that probably
so it's like if it did look like me, just like it might not have been her because I texted one of my old coworkers and like, oh, she lives in Antelope, and I was like, really? But I was like, that looks like her.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe she was at work and is like, I mean, who knows? But I was just like, if we had to line up like normal, I'd be like right next to her and it would have been awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what were we just talking about? I don't know. Social media is awful. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Well, this has been a really great episode.
Yeah.
I think we're going to wrap it up.
A lot of shit that we've discussed.
That's how this podcast should be, I think.
No, I agree.
Do you want to plug anything? You're not really.
No, I'm not
you don't really like put content out.
Yeah, I don't.
Just post pictures of Lilo.
Do you want to see pictures of my dog, Allie Berta, Instagram?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see a post on Facebook every 2 weeks. Also, follow me.
You don't feel bad about how shitty your life is compared to Allie's life.
Post a lot of fire content of Lilo, memes of... No, I don't really post that many memes. I don't even know what I post. I don't know who I am online.
You have like good little witty things about Lilo that are fun. Sometimes Nacho's in it.
World. Yeah, Nacho is featured in a lot of my posts because they're always together.
You had a good it was like you took a family photo and then Nacho jumped in too.
Yeah.
But he was all blurry because he was moving around.
It was cute because he kept when we went to take the photo and then he'd be there okay, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And so I just grabbed him in that photo.
I love it. He does this thing when he's ready and he'll sit there on his butt with his legs up like this and he'll have usually his front paws will be down, but when he's ready one of them will be up and he'll be like, what are we doing?
He's so extra. He does this.
What's this? Are you laying an egg?
No, his legs are so big. He's so awkward.
He's got little haunches because he's part greyhound, so he's built like a sprinter.
Yeah, Nick and I call him Nacho Long Legs, and we call Lilo Nacho Long Bottom.
Lilo Long Bottom?
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, it's a Nacho.
Lilo Little Legs.
Lilo Long Bottom.
Triple L.
And Nacho Long Legs. But she does have little legs because she's part corgi.
Yeah. Now she's licking her leg. Anyways, you can find me at Epic Tiki Comedy on Twitter, at Epic Tiki on Instagram. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you're watching. If you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, you can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/Epic Tiki Comedy. There's this podcast, there's sketches, there's vlogs.
So much.
They're like anti-vlogs, really. And you should watch all those things and tell your friends about it. And I hope you're safe in the pandemic.
Same.
And thank you for watching and listening to us. Bye.
Bye. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, gotta go. Talk to you later.
Wait.
I'm hanging up now.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.